to go and do.
Well, he's got a grade C charge, so his season is potentially over at this point if they throw the full weight of that charge behind him. Now,
which you might see him getting.
The disciplinary panel don't tend to go to the upper end, but they go to the upper end more on people who public opinion tells them to go to the upper end on, i.e. a Gareth Hock type, and public opinion is very much against Ben Flower because of that, and it doesn't deserve to be let off for what he did 2 years ago. Let's not mess around with that. I still think it's the worst act I've seen by a Wigan player in my time being a supporter of the sport. Then though, the absolutely remarkable started, and Wigan said balls to structure, led by...
Well, no, what you said was, we've been dull as dishwater for most of the season. Let's have 20 minutes where we play Rugby League.
Well, yeah, and led by, I'd say, Liam Farrell and John Bateman in terms of the engine room, and them basically doing extra work. And Liam Farrell was a composed presence in all of this as well, taking up the sensible carries and that sort of thing. Off the back of that, you had Anthony Gelling, who'd already had a strong game, imposing himself very well, like he can do. And what the difference was sensible offloading play from Nuasala and Tautai, our two props who can offload. And they were getting arms free in sensible situations rather than panic situations. And there was a determination and a drive, and then off the back of that came a performance. And Sam Tompkins deserves a lot of credit. I think he was had a very good game. His best game since when he got knocked up a bit trying to take a kick against Wakefield in the last time we won a game after a player was sent off, actually.
Well, it's the first time in a long time I've actually seen him actively take the line on, and it paid off for him as well.
He's got to try,
yeah. So, more of that, please, if you're going to play for England, Mr. Tompkins.
And then we came to, obviously, the crunch moment. The
Lewis Tierney try.
Yeah, which, to me...
Well, you're going to take it every day of the week, aren't you?
It wasn't a try, was it?
No.
It wasn't
I don't think so. But, and this is the problem with the video refereeing, I don't think that you can say, based on what you saw on the night on the cover. I know there's a picture come out now, but that's easy. There's tons of photoshopping you can do. Based on what you saw on television on the night on that broadcast,
none of the screen
definitively show you that he's in touch.
No, because his hand was the hand and the touchline were all blurred. Exactly. Where the camera was going.
As much as Steve was going there, you can see from the blurry pink bit on the blurry white bit. No, that's not sufficient evidence to turn it over. I don't think it was a try, but our system is, it goes up as a try. Is there any reason I can't? Is there a reason to turn this over? And unfortunately, based on what's in front of the video referee, no, there isn't.
The reason why it was a bad decision, live call by Hicks, is because know your players. Lewis Tierney
loves finding touch.
Is not strong enough, tough enough at finishing. Not like Josh Charnley, who finished a great try on the other side in a similar sort of scenario.
That's it.
He knew how to do it.
Yeah,
Tierney's got to learn that.
Had the try not been awarded, do I think Wigan would have gone on to win, even with one man less? Yes, I actually do think they would probably have still gone on to win, because the groundswell was with them and the momentum was there. And Warrington had lost players and had flogged Chris Hill by that point, and I just don't think that they were ever coming back, even against 12 men, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, the Ben Curry injury. And whilst I praised Darrell Clark for his play, he dived as well a couple of times in this game, which was very frustrating. But he also tried to get a penalty out of a couple of situations. One of them being the Ben Curry try. Now Sam Tompkins had sort of flailed an arm out, hadn't he? As Curry stepped back inside him, went clean away from him. It wasn't near contacting him, but Curry hurt himself and. Clark was trying to get it to be a penalty against Sam Tompkins or some Wigan player or something. And that, again, things we don't like to see in the game creeping in. All teams are starting to do that sort of stuff. We don't want to see it. But he was outstanding when he was playing, so, focus on the positives there. But that changed things, because Ben Curry's such a strike weapon, such a consistent performer this year. One of my nominations for Player of the Year. And I just think that knocked them a bit as well. Like you say, with with a weak bench anyway, which they had in this game. Wigan had probably a stronger bench, and with Jake Shorrock's actually stepping up a level as well.
Which again is a big story from this game, because this is a young man who I assume has got some experience of playing at hooker in lower end.
No, he's played 10-minute spells around half time, 2 or 3 times this year.
Phenomenal is that then for the young man to come in and step into the boots that, to be fair, Sam Powell has been more than has grown into that role wonderfully for you lot in the absence of Michael McLaurin.
And the play he got injured on is testament to the improvements he has been making, where he spots an opening, and actually he was very close to scoring if it wasn't for someone's knee coming in. Inadvertently, not God. Before we get that, so it wasn't a try, but I think then Toby King, unfortunately for him, I found him to be a threat all game. His numbers weren't like outstanding, but the impact he has when he carries the ball, and he's so confident, he gets involved all over the pitch and stuff. And when you hear Gelling talk about what we actually did, I can't remember which interview it was in, whether it was one with Sky or a Wigan TV one or something, but they said, well, we knew at that stage of the game Warrington would be going lateral for looking for that sort of stuff. If we just hold a line, there'll be an intercept on. And he took it, and he scored, and he celebrated.
He's picked a couple of intercepts up. I'm so glad he didn't drop the ball.
And you've got to love him for it. And Matty Smith, king of the drop goal.
Yeah, how many is that now? 7 or 8 this season?
9, I believe.
There you go. So just from my point of view, what a fantastically entertaining game. I hope now that what we see in a week's time over at the KCOM lives up to that, and we get the same level of, because we've got 2 comparable sides going up against each other, so I hope that we see that next weekend. Right, tell us what do the stats tell us about this one then, Mark?
Well, there's barely anything in a lot of the stats actually. Tackle success was pretty much the same, carries very similar, metres per carry very similar, total metres cigarette paper, tackle busts, I think there was 2 different in the numbers. Number of breaks, 7 each. The penalties that were given away by each side was 12 each. Obviously why I've run loads more from dummy half, 31 times compared to Wigan's 13, but that's par for the course. But they also made a couple more handling errors than Wigan, so that might have been crucial in there.
One crucial error for me that stood out when probably before the Tierney try, they made a break down the left-hand side, and I can't remember if the ball was going to Ryan Atkins or if it was Ryan Atkins that played the ball, but they had an overlap on, and he just passed it out. The guy had outrun him, and I think if he'd found his man, that could have been them in. So it is that finer margin, isn't it?
Yeah, and offload numbers for Wigan, 20-10. That suggests the sort of attitude that Wigan carried through the back end of this game, and I think the play of the game was probably the Nuasala, where he got his head through, offloaded to Gelling, and that set up the position for one of Charnley's tries, didn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Anthony Gelling, anyway, led the way individually with a try, 207 metres, 2 clean breaks. Lewis Tierney, 2 tries, 126 metres, 3 clean breaks. Liam Farrell, a try assist, 149 metres. Tali Matauta. Oh, and also there was the forward pass ruled out try, wasn't there? Which the pass ended up going forwards. I'm not convinced it was forwards out of the hand, but I would say that I'm a Wigan fan.
Yes.
I think it was. I think I think Russell.
No one to fold him, Mark.
I think Russell scored off a pattern pass that was flat.
As flat as they come.
So if we'd have got it, I wouldn't have felt bad about it. Anyway, Tali Matauta, 115 metres, 4 successful offloads. For the Wire, Chris Hill, 1 try, 152 metres. Matty Russell, a try, 145 metres, 4 successful offloads. Darryl Clark ripped it up, 203 metres for him. Kurt Gidley, a try and a try assist. That was the really good play, heads-up play by Toby King, wasn't it? That showed just how smart a rugby league player he is.
Yeah,
putting Kurt Gidley through for that try. I actually felt a bit sorry for Warrington, which I never felt. I mean, I laughed when the box got closed and carried away. That was brilliant. But I felt a bit sorry for them because I sort of felt like they'd kind of done a lot to deserve the game until the 65th minute, and they'd been harshly treated on the sin bin, and they'd had a few make-up calls and stuff, but they've made their own, took an advantage of it by scoring those tries when we had an extra man through our middle, which no one does. And I thought they were on for that, and I enjoyed the performances of a few of their players. But by the end, Daryl Clark's antics a little bit, and just the fact that the Warrington kept coming back into my head, and you don't feel too bad. But I felt a little bit bad for them.
I felt bad for them up to the point that Ben Fly got sent off, and then when they failed to maintain and increase upon a lead against 12 men, with a side with that many players who are capable of playing expansive rugby league, means to me that, well, you had more than your opportunity there, lads. And that's not to say that Wigan didn't suddenly turn it on, because I think actually what happened is that losing that guy galvanised Wigan and you guys. I prefer to think of it as that you guys just pulled this performance out from somewhere in you know, in kind of like a last stand sort of style, rather than Warrington just thought it would be too easy and then, you know, let it slip.
Credit to Wigan on that.
Credit to you guys, actually, rather than take it away from Warrington. But, you know, it was either way, it was a fabulous advert for Rugby League, and this is, like
I think everyone enjoyed it.
My favourite game
of
this season.
Of reviews in on
we
it.
Sure did. Starting with a Super League pod stalwart, Bride Davies. He got in touch. He said, "Great game. Really good to see Wigan go away from the thug Sean Wine's boring tactics and actually play rugby. Imagine how good they could be if they ditched that twat." Don't pull his punches, don't have Bride, does he?
No, when it comes to
Sean Wayne, yeah, exactly. Paul got in touch. He says, "Doubt you'll see a better game this season. Flower getting off changed the game." Lucy, his progeny, she got in touch and said, "I think that's the best game I've seen on Sky all season. Wigan need to work on their discipline because they won't be lucky all the time. But I think the passion and motivation they showed after Fly got sent off showed everything they can do when they put their minds to it. Season far from over. Unlucky for Warrington to lose out on 2 trophies when it was so close, but need to keep a closer eye on what's happening, I guess. LMAO. I love rugby league." Smiley face from Lucy. Thank you, Lucy. Elliot Wrench. "Wow, what can I say? Even though I lost, it was a belter of a game. Wigan were good, Warrington were crap. Wigan were good, Warrington were crap. Then I lost it and hid behind the sofa. I'm back out next Friday. Well done to the Pies." Chris Macy. "Well, this week's electrical / mechanical git would be my skybox for not actually recording this one. Caught what I could when I got in from work, but even then I looked away for a bit and it went from 28-14 to 28-18 with the Pies a man down. So from what I saw, it was a very short, dominant Wigan display with a bloke mysteriously disappearing before the Pies put their foot down. They didn't sacrifice him to gain some otherworldly powers, did they?" Oh, possibly so. Richard A. said, "What a game. Why have Wigan waited until now to score like this? Some dodgy refereeing decisions, but on the balance, a fair result." Wyatt Joe said, "Call it whatever you want. Clinicism, professionalism, or bottle, we just don't seem to have it. We haven't been able to close out a tight game when it really matters all year. Fair play to Wigan. They just keep turning up and putting in an unbelievable 20 minutes at the end of games. But the game and Shield should have been in the bag by then." Alan Walker said, "Wire should never have lost it. The game was in the bag. Flower proved he should go back to Union. Wigan lost their rag big time. They were spazzing out. ! And then Wigan made as many fuck-ups as possible and still won it. No wire players for England." Strong words from Alan Walker there.
Say that when Chris Hill's a Warrington player.
Smashing the sangria and agitanes, I would suggest. We got one in from, and I'm going to assume that this is a parody, we got one from Sandra Wayne, Mark, and she says, "I am not looking forward to the pumping our Sean is going to be sending my way later tonight. Hashtag 30 seconds of vigour. Hashtag hello darkness, my old friend." Very good, whoever that is. Alfie Garner, he said, "Now that's a game of rugby league. Best in a long time for my money. Well done Wigan, showing heart and desire. 12 angry men. Applaud emoticon. Applaud emoticon." Tyler Casfan said, "A couple of firsts for me this season. I enjoyed watching Wigan and I thought Tompkins had a good game. A bit irksome watching Daryl Clark trying to milk a penalty every time he was tackled, but if the semis and final are like this, I won't be complaining." Lee Whitnell said, "If the aim of rugby league was to throw away a 2-score lead in the last 20 minutes, then it really would always be our year. I thought Wigan showed a lot of spirit, but we should never have allowed them back into the game after the sending off. Gutted." Paul Michael Craig said, "A gutsy win from Wigan, but I thought there was enough evidence to rule for a no try. For Wyatt, Hill was good, but the turning point was probably Curry going off injured. For Wigan, I thought Frank Paul Nuisala had his best game in a Wigan shirt. Not a lot of those to beat, though, I would suggest. Shorex looks like he's...
if it was a curve, it's turned hockey stick after that.
Yeah, definitely. So